Today, you're learning about amortization tables. Do you guys have a clue what those are? Okay, so amortization table, it's basically going to show you how much you pay over the whole loan, but they show you every single payment, what it's being applied to, whether it's going to interest or whether it's going to principal. What's principal? When I say principal versus interest, what's a principal? Starting amount. So if I took a loan out for $150,000, my principal's $150,000. Everything I pay on top of that is my interest. Does that make sense? So if you guys, I'm going to pause for a second. If you guys will just take the chairs down for us. Okay, if we go over here to amortization, I'm going to walk you through this. So I'll give you, this is your assignment, which I'll open in a minute, but I want to show you the calculator first. You're going to have to make a copy because it's editable, so you can change it. I'm going to shut the door because I don't want to listen to that. Okay, so as you guys can see, you're going to change this stuff up here. So I could change this to, how much do you think a nice house costs? 180, okay? This, leave the interest rate alone for now. And then, let me see if I can make this smaller. So my first payment, oh no, I'm sorry, I have to do 180,000. Okay, so my first payment, let's make it a nice even number. Pick a nice even number. Any number in the whole world.
14.
I'm going to do 1,000. How do you feel about 1,000? Okay. So for my first payment, of the $1,000, $525 is going to interest. You follow me? Mm-hmm. And over time, how much I'm paying, how much of that $1,000 is going to interest goes down, and it's paying off the principal more and more. Does that make sense? Now, with this, look how much I'm paying in interest over the life of the loan. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Can you see how it stopped? It stopped because I already paid off the loan. So if I was paying $1,000 a month, I'd be done paying off. Right here, see how this is when it stops, we get all zeros? It would be 21 years and about 4 months. So it typically takes 30 years to pay off a loan. Does that make sense? So you pay for that for 30 years. Now the thing is, you're going to be paying that money towards rent anyways. You're either going to be paying it towards rent or you're going to be paying it towards a house. If you're paying it towards rent, you don't get that money back no matter what. When I pay it towards a house, what can I do with the house? I could sell it and get almost all of that money back. Does that make sense? So it really comes down to, do you have the money for the down payment, and are you willing to do all the maintenance yourself? Does that make sense? Because when you own the house, you don't get to just call management and say my AC's out. You got to fix it yourself. You got to pay for it yourself. So homes can be a good investment, but they can also be incredibly expensive. General rule of thumb, you want to budget 3 to 5% of whatever the house costs per year to be able to fix anything that goes wrong. So things like repairing a roof, fixing or replacing an AC or HVAC system, updating electrical, things like that. Okay, now I'm going to put this back to the 150,000 that we started with. I'm going to put it back to the, I think it was 674. Yeah, 674. See how it would have taken me 30 years to pay off at 674? See how much interest I'm paying over the whole life of the loan? 92,364 and 89 cents. That's a lot, right? That's what you're paying on top of that 150,000. Okay? Now what we could do is, let's say we're going to pay a little extra every month, okay? How much extra do you think you could squeeze every month?
Look at 300 books.
Pardon?
300 books.
300? Okay, look how over the life of the loan, paying an extra 300, do you see how I almost cut it in half?
Yeah.
That's a lot, right? Now let's see, we're looking here at the zeros. We're going to scroll up and see when we would be done paying. Does that make sense? We're looking for when it starts being something besides 0. So basically 17 years. You just took that loan from 30 years to 17 years. So you just got 30 years to 17. You just saved yourself 13 years. That's almost half, right? You guys see what I'm saying? So we want to play with this a little bit. I gave you an assignment on it, but really my goal is that you play with it. Now let's see what happens. Let's take away that monthly extra. Let's see what happens if we change the interest rate. 3.5 is the average for the last 2 years, which is why I picked 3.5. But let's say you have a really good credit score. The interest rate depends on your credit score, depends on your credit history, depends on your current down payment. For example, my sister was able to buy a house with her husband, and they had more than 20% down. They were able to buy a lower interest rate. They got it for 2.2. Look how much that saves you over the life of the loan, right? This is back where it was $90,000. That was 90-something thousand dollars in interest. They didn't pay, if they didn't pay any extra, look how still they'd be done 23 years and 42,000. See how that percent rate really makes a difference? So I'm going to put this back to that 3.5, and yeah, that's what I was supposed to do. And then let's go through what you need to do for your assignment. Yeah, that's me. Oh, did I not make this a copy? Let me make this so that it says copy at the end. Yeah, it does say copy. Why does it want me to log in? That's me. Is that me? It's easier if I just put it over here. I had to log in to make a copy. That's ridiculous. Okay, make a copy. Okay, so we're gonna start with some pretty easy things where, tell me what amortization table is. So you should be able to tell me in your own words. It's gonna show you your principal and your interest amount. Here, I'm giving you specific things to change in that top part and pull specific things off the table. I'm really just looking that you can read the table and you know what it means. Then later, we're gonna have you, right here, I just took a screenshot of a house that I thought was pretty. You're supposed to find one that's like a starter home, so less than 150,000, and one that's like a someday home, like a dream kind of home. It still has to be less than $500,000, okay? So I believe that you guys can earn money, but more than 500,000, I think you're just throwing your money away at that point. So, I mean, maybe if you're a rancher or something and you're using the land, but okay. So I'm just looking for this. I'm looking for a screenshot that shows me how much it is. And then you're going to use that to fill out these table. How much is the price? Figure out what your monthly mortgage would be. Figure out all of these things. If you need help with that, I'm happy to help you. But that's what you're going to work on, okay?
I don't let me open the calculator.
It won't let you open the calculator?